Okay, guys, and we are back again. Weekends are my favorite. You know that. And this weekend happens to be the longest. Wishing all you lovely listeners of Red FM a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Ganpati is one of the festivals that I grew up with in Bombay, of course, where my aunt lives, and I've seen the chaos that happens around it. But this year, we're cutting the chaos on the streets. We're trying to make sure that we are back at home so we're safe. But I thought, why not get some chaos right here in the Red FM studio? So, joining me today is somebody who's so pretty, and that's the first question I wanted to ask her. She's been on beauty pageant. She's been titled Miss India Earth. We'll come to a bunch of her accolades, but hey, let me introduce you to Nicole Faria. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, thanks for having me on board. I'm doing well. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's a long weekend, so yes, totally geared up. Nicole, I'm going to ask you this straight, okay? Do you really wake up like this every day? But do you get this? Do you get this, especially because you're somebody who's been into beauty pageants and in this industry itself? So does looking at your best come with a lot of stress?
I think looking presentable at all times is something that I have been groomed into doing from a very young age. My mother would, teach me with, personal grooming as well as etiquette, table manners, that kind of thing. And it just so happened, I also got into modeling, and it just so happened that I got into pageants. So it's sort of, I brushed up on those skills and sort of becomes part of you and part of your everyday routine.
So for the rest of you guys, Nicole had entered the world of fashion at the age of 50. Now that's the age where most people are just, on these social media apps trying to like do something and get boyfriends. But she went into this professional world at a very young age. And you started working in Delhi, if I'm correct, Delhi, Mumbai, and then you had Colombo as well. Yes. So tell us, to start off with, how was that for you? Like for somebody who's so young and looking back, what was the journey like?
So I was actually very privileged to have started so young, because everyone looked at me as the baby of the group. So all of the girls, all of my model friends would take care of me and sort of, have this extra look out for me and sort of, have you eaten? Are you comfortable wearing this outfit? Are you not? We can talk to the designer if you're not, that kind of thing. So I had the right advice at all times, which was something that I'm so blessed with. For anyone starting off, having the right guidance is something so very important.
True.
And if you don't have that, you're probably going to take the wrong step, or it's basically it's just go the wrong way. Absolutely. And obviously, I grew up in this industry, so I sort of worked with the top photographers, the top models, top designers, got to travel the world, New York, Colombo, Delhi Fashion Week, Lakme Fashion Week. And things just started to, pick up and go the right direction.
When there's a fashion show, it's supposed to be perfect. Like I've been on one where the choreographer is like, hey, you don't know what you're doing, walk straight, or go in with the music. There's a lot that goes behind the rehearsals, and when the final D-Day comes, it's just another level of panic that you guys are so good at hiding. But that's what I wanted to ask you again, which is, has there ever been a goof up? Like, have you ever goofed up on stage, or you've tripped on your
tons of times? Tons
Tell us about it.
So there was this one show we were doing in Bangalore. A lot of, I was at the time living in Bombay. So I flew down to Bangalore with the Bombay models, and then there were Delhi models. And of course, there were some Bangalore models as well. And we were doing this show at, I think, Taj.
Okay.
And we were, I'm not very, one of the Tajes, I'm not very sure where. It was basically, there was the lawn was covered with dew. And we were basically, walking on that lawn, on that wet lawn, and then getting onto stage. So one or two girls had slipped, but not fallen. They just sort of slipped. And by the end of it, every single one of us slipped and fell. And I had fallen flat out on the ramp. But then I got back up and I started walking again as though nothing ever happened. And then the audience started to cheer on and clap. And that's when we all realized, there are ups and downs, and it's not the end of life, or not the end of your journey. In fact, it's the beginning to so many more things, because we got backstage and everyone was giggling and laughing because everyone had fallen by then. So that was fun, because it hadn't just happened to me, but I've had there are certain things like this that keep happening, and it's part of the journey, and there's nothing to be worried about.
Nicole did her schooling at Sophia High School, and which is in our city, and then of course her PUC from Christ College. You also did your BA, I think, from Mount Carmel. Is that right?
Yes, that's
So
correct.
tell me about your the time that you spent in the city. Now people come here for jobs, people come here because the weather is fantastic, people come here because the nightlife is great, but what apart from studying drew you to Bengaluru?
So I was born and raised in Bangalore, in our green city. So, growing up in Bangalore's always been the garden city. It's always had the coolest weather,
True.
Versatile people from different cultures, backgrounds. And that's what made Bangalore, because we were,
Correct.
so unique. People who are from different fields, different walks of life, from different countries. All of a sudden, in this one space, working together, the energy is superb here. And I guess that's what sort of draws people to Bangalore. I was so privileged to have been born and raised in a city like this.
Tell me the first word that you learned in Kannada. I'm assuming you can speak in Kannada.
Yes, of course.
Of course.
My third language in school was Kannada.
If you were to teach me, somebody who's not from here, I'm from Chennai, so you can imagine the heat and the difference of temperature that I'm definitely enjoying in this city, in your city. What is a word that you would teach me first?
Anna namge sanitizer beku. Sanitizer idyane matra.
Right. I'm going to record that and practice that and get back to you. Your favorite ice cream joint from Bangalore?
Corner House.
I knew it. Everybody says that. Okay. Your favorite biryani space in Bangalore? I'm crossing my fingers for a reason. I'll tell you why. First, go for it.
Go Nati.
Go Nati. Yes. So what are the two places that you would ask me to go for a run in the morning if it's not a park?
If it's not a park?
Yeah. Where people from Bangalore actually run or cycle. Maybe I don't know that.
Nandi Hills. Have you been to Nandi Hills before?
Yes, I got chased by monkeys. How do you like being in my bathroom? Have you been to a ladies' bathroom, as in not to do your business, but otherwise, have you been into a ladies' bathroom with like a bunch of other women?
Yes, I have.
And is it the green room stories that you want to tell us? Maybe something exciting?
So basically our green rooms. Okay, I'll tell you one interesting fun fact.
Okay.
I have had my quickest change time on the, backstage has been 15 seconds.
Okay.
Literally, like when you go backstage, when you're no longer visible to the audience or the cameras,
right,
you immediately start, getting ready for your next change. And that's how crazy it is.
For most people who know or do not know, she got the first ladies award from our president, of course, Ramnath Kovind, for winning Miss Earth 2010. How was that feeling? Like, I'm sure you've discussed this a bunch of times. People have asked you, but really, how did that feel, taking one for the team?
I think it was something that was just so fascinating to me. I was sitting right next to Aishwarya Rai Bachchan. We were on the same table as Maneka Gandhi ji, and we're just sitting, and it just, the whole presentation, the flow from our hotel all the way to to the place, to the venue, and then having the president of India call out your name, give you an award, shake your hand, and like sort of thank you for doing what you've done for your country, basically acknowledging your achievements. And I think for me, that was the icing on the cake. It's something that I would never forget, representing my country internationally, and having other women in their respective fields receiving an award for that as well. And like I said, a person like Aishwarya Rai Bachchan sitting right next to you, someone who's worked very hard ever since she stepped foot into this industry and is still acing it. Hats off to everyone that received that award.
How real are these beauty pageants? Are they really for real? Or, as a lot of people say that, there's a lot of things that happen behind, it's all fixed. Well, these days, at least you get to hear that. And the second thing is, well, it's very hard to be in that sort of shape. But here's again, people talking about body shaming and, beauty pageants do this and that. And it's all about your outer. What do you have to say about that? So 2 questions.
Okay, so firstly, to me, beauty pageants have been as real as it gets. It's proper cutthroat. You're in constant competition with the way I look at it is I was in constant competition with myself. But there are certain girls who sort of look at other girls to see, I need to gauge the competition in order to know how far along I am or if I have to step up my
Which
game.
is natural for any competition.
Which is very healthy.
Right.
It's healthy competition at the end of the day. But to constantly, like girls who are going for these pageants should always remember that you're in constant competition with yourself. I need to be better today than I was yesterday.
Right.
And that's all there is to it. So they're very, very real. In terms of, people being body shamed, stuff like that happens in every industry. And in this industry, you will find girls eating cakes, eating croissants, eating, baguettes, eating whatever. You just sort of filling yourself up with carbs because some of them are genetically blessed.
Yes.
Some of them consume those carbs and burn a lot more the next day at the gym, which is also fine.
Right.
But bottom line is you enjoy yourself. Do not starve yourself because the whole point of a beauty pageant is, that inner radiance to be, to be able to see it on the outside. And that's the beauty of it. And that's its charm, I guess, just having fun with the space that you're in and making the most of it.
Before I let you go, of course, which I sadly have to, I would have loved to, chill with you a little longer. I'm going to ask you a bunch of these super fast questions. When I say super fast, is because these are like one-word answers. No, you don't.
Rapid fire round. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. So, first question is, let's see. Okay. If you were shipwrecked on a deserted island and you had only 2 things or 2 people or whatever, anything that you could take with you, you had your food and water sorted, right? Because it's an island, there's like a lot of water. I don't know if it's... Anyway, what are the 2 things or people that you would take with you?
If I was deserted on an island, I would take a weapon.
Okay.
To protect myself. And I would take a tent.
I have a question. Why would you take a weapon? You're the only person on the island. Who are you going to...
What if there are like some sort of tribals, indigenous tribes that we don't know of and they suddenly come out and like how do you
your imagination? It's great. Yes, that's a great point. Okay, tent. I've never
weapon and shelter. Yeah.
Yes, I've never gotten these answers, so great job with that. Okay, moving on to the next one. If you had a choice between 2 superpowers, being invisible or if you were able to fly, Nicole Faria, what would you be?
I would fly.
You wouldn't want to be invisible?
No.
Okay.
I enjoy the limelight too much.
Okay, great. That's a good one. Now, since we're talking about you enjoying the limelight, I'm sure when you go and people recognize you, there are hecklers who could make it a little difficult, especially with women, inappropriate comments per se or whatever, especially with women's security today. What do you have to say on that?
Most times I just ignore it. To tell you frankly, there's no point giving them that attention. When I was younger, I would fight back and be like, this is ridiculous. Why should I control myself? Why should I act a certain way because these men are like that, blah, blah.
Correct.
And I was quite, very rebellious.
Well, I wish both of you tons of years together and all the happiness in the world. But right now, before I let you go, though, the world is, in the midst of a pandemic. So what is a big fat message that you want to give out, not only to our listeners today, but everybody who is perhaps watching this video as well?
To be responsible, stay safe, stay home as long as you can. If you have to absolutely get out, then go out. Wear a mask at all times.
Sadly, I have to. We're going to wrap up the Baat-Room show. But thank you, Nicole, so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope I see you soon sometime.
Come outside. No, I'm outside the bathroom.
All right, I will. Well, for the rest of you guys, though, thank you so much for joining us. And do follow me on Instagram. My Insta handle is Angira and Nicole Faria, of course. And I will see you the next weekend with another guest in my bathroom. Until then, stay safe. Get your vaccination shots and Superhits 93.5 Red FM. On the count of 3, 2, 1.
Bajate raho.
Red FM 93.5.